Hey you guys, it's Britt. Tonight we're here to talk about what I think is one of the messiest situations that I've seen play out on TikTok as of recent memory. Of course, I don't know of everything going on, but this is wild. We're going to be talking about this creator, kind of, Ashley Evans 7'3". She is talking about becoming pregnant while she was having an affair with Marissa Henderson's husband, and she's put out a few videos. I'm going to react to them with y'all, and we're going to have a conversation. I think the reason this kind of like hit me in this and like hit me like right in the chest, and I feel so like upset and annoyed by it, is because I have said for years, one of the things that I cannot stand is a liar and a cheater. And I've been that way all of my adult life. Don't lie, don't cheat. Aside from that, of course, couples have their ins and outs and all of the things, but don't lie, don't cheat. But either way, we're going to hear what she had to say and have a conversation. So if you're interested, please keep watching. All right, you guys, so I'm sure as a lot of y'all know, the TikTok algorithm works in really odd ways. Sometimes I'll see videos that are trending. Sometimes I'll see a video that has 0 likes, 0 views, 0 comments. And it's a little bit of a grab bag as to like what is on my FYP personally. And I came across this video from Ashley Evans, and she was talking about how she is pregnant and she is the pregnant mistress. So either way, I'm going to go in order from oldest to newest. These have all been uploaded in the last 3 days, so it is very new. But let's start with this video, my side of the Marissa Henderson and Mistress story. I want to add more info and context to this saga. None of us, I think she meant to say are innocent in this story except the kids. Jesus, take the wheel. This is a lot, but let's start at the top.
Hey everyone. So I'd like to start out this video just by saying that I wouldn't typically choose to take my private life and make it public, especially not on a forum like TikTok, for entertainment's sake. However, 6 months ago, Marissa Henderson decided to take some elements of her private life and make it public, and drug me and people I love and care about into it. So to be clear, 6 months ago, Marissa Henderson took to TikTok saying that she was cornered in her driveway by her husband's mistress, and the mistress was telling her that she was pregnant. I am that mistress, and I am pregnant with her husband's child. I'm coming on here because I think it's important to tell the truth, and a lot of what she said just was her perspective largely, but a lot of it was skewed.
One thing I would like to say in the beginning of this reaction is that, to my knowledge, Marissa never mentioned this person's name. She never name dropped, so this is kind of like you're lifting the veil on your own lack of morals, and you're exposing yourself for being the clown in the circus, so to speak. And this could have stayed in the drafts. This could have stayed offline. This was not something, in my opinion, where it's like, oh wow, she actually said my name and I'm gonna come on and share my story. Whether or not people agree with it, my name was publicly mentioned, so I'm gonna choose to respond to this. Her name was never mentioned.
A lot of things were left out, and some things just weren't true. So I'll be doing a series of videos in which I look back, give some context, give some of my own just perspective on the entire situation. I think it's really important through all of this to remember that love is messy and it's hard, and life is hard, and that you're not going to find any villains or angels in this story. You're not going to find good guys and bad guys or black and white.
What I would like to say is, speaking of villains and angels and dark and light and good and bad and all of those things, anybody that knowingly sleeps with a married person, you're automatically going to have that villain badge because you knew what you were doing. The other person knew what they were doing. And this was not a situation where she was lied to, misled, and discovered things after the fact. She fully knew that she was literally in bed with a married man. And for me personally, you're going to wear that villain badge if you do that and you know it. And so is her husband. I understand that there are affairs and relationships that will happen because the person was not honest and they were not telling the full and complete truth as to, hey, I'm actually in this relationship, hey, I'm in a marriage, so on and so forth. But like I said, if you knowingly are engaging in this and this is somebody who is supposed to be committed to somebody else, y'all are both the villains. And I will die on that hill.
Life is a whole lot of shades of gray. And I can tell you that nothing that I ever did or that her husband ever did was with malice or hurt or the intention to hurt.
Listen, again, if you are knowingly cheating on somebody, then for me personally, that is malice. That is intending to hurt somebody, because as we know, things that are done in the dark always come to light. There's skeletons in the closet, all of that jazz. So you cannot sit here and tell me, well, we did that, but it wasn't intended to hurt anybody. You were a home wrecker, period. In this video, this was posted 2 days ago, and it says part 1 of the Marissa Henderson drama from the Mistress's POV. Some backstory before Bill Torres was married. So this goes over how they knew each other and kind of what happened. Here's my whole thing. Like, we don't need the backstory. I don't need all the details, because once you tell me that you are a mistress that had an affair with another individual that you knew was married, I have no sympathy for you. And I do agree that there are, the kids in this situation are completely innocent. But let's not act as if there's some big explanation that needs to be given, and then y'all will understand, oh, you just don't have the backstory, you don't understand. No, we understand it. We understand it very well and disagree with it completely.
Everyone. So for those of you who didn't see my other video, this is going to be the first video in a series where I give my perspective on being a pregnant mistress, basically. These videos are in response to a series of videos done by somebody else who was the wife of the man that
Again, as a friendly reminder, Marissa did not name drop this individual. She decided to expose herself, and the comments do not disappoint. I will link her TikTok page down below in case y'all want to go read some of the comments, but most people are on the same page here. Most people are on the same page of, hey, you knowingly involved yourself with somebody that was married, so you and him are both garbage.
Pregnant by. So this first video, I just want to go ahead and give some background story about my life a little bit and how mine and Bill's relationship started, and kind of what the history is there, just to kind of give everybody a little bit of perspective. So first, before I say any of that, I'd like to say that I'm not here to change everybody's mind about infidelity or whether or not, and I'm certainly not here to advocate getting involved with somebody who's married. I definitely don't recommend that if, you know, you can avoid it. But I also...
Okay, so she's saying she's not advocating for having an affair, being unfaithful, all of those things. However, you have gone on to make multiple videos painting yourself as somebody who is, hey, I'm here to share my story, and y'all just don't understand all of the details. We are different. Y'all are not different. There is nothing different about this situation. In fact, it's one of the worst because both of y'all knew exactly what you were doing. And then to confront this Marissa Henderson in her driveway, ma'am, you are literally asking to be knocked out. I am shocked and surprised that this did not end very, very badly. Confronting somebody in their driveway of their private home to say, I had an affair with your husband and I love him and we're going to, we're going to try to make it work and we're going to frolic through the, field of wildflowers and raise this child that is a product of an affair. No.
Do want to kind of remind everybody, like, we're all human and we all are imperfect, and I just think it's really important to be kind and gentle with each other. I also think it's important that to get all sides of the story out there. I wouldn't typically choose to share it, but...
Kind and gentle request. Were you thinking about that when you were signing up to wreck a home? Were you thinking about being kind and gentle or how anybody else would feel aside from you? That doesn't give kind and gentle vibes. Just saying.
Since it was already kind of shared for me, I decided to put my side out there. So let's get into it.
But it wasn't shared for you. Your name was never mentioned. So if you didn't do these videos, I would say 99% of TikTok would have had no clue who you were. But you decided to expose yourself, and now you want to play the we're all human card. We make mistakes. Things are not black and white.
Bill and I met when I was 24 and he was 26. So to kind of put that in context, I'm 37 now and he will be 39 next month. So we've known each other for a really long time. We met and we started dating. We hit it off right away. We were obviously a lot younger, but we, kind of fell in love really quickly. A lot of life stuff happened, and we ended up kind of dating on and off for the next couple of years. And then we had a long distance relationship when he and Marissa met. I was actually in prison. And no, I didn't do anything violent or anything like that, and I will go into like kind of my prison experience in later videos. But so anyway,
she later goes on to say that she was in prison because of substances, something along those lines. I have not fact checked that. I am going off of what she is saying. But what I would like to point out is there is a comment here that I saved from earlier, and someone said, did you know he was married? Because at the end of the day, that is what mattered. Did you know he was married? She responded and said, it's more complicated than that, but ultimately, yes, I did. That tells me everything I need to know about who you are as a person. Your lack of morals, your lack of self-control, your lack of realizing, wow, my decisions could ultimately ruin an entire family and leave children with trauma that they have to deal with into adulthood.
Was in prison when he and Marissa met, and so of course he ended things with me and he was with her, and they were married, and so I moved on with my life.
Of course he ended things with you. Lady, you were literally in prison. What did you expect to have happen? You think this guy is just gonna kind of follow you along the way? That's very rare. I recently talked about how rare it is for prison relationships to actually work and flourish for long term. Wow.
And I got out of prison, rebuilt my life, that kind of thing. And then, Bill reached out to me about a year ago now, and we started to talk, and there was still, I realized for me, there was still a lot of feelings there, and I believe that's, what he realized too. He and I have always had a very deep connection, and I think that, in all this, it's really important to remember that I never went into this with the intention of hurting anybody. And honestly, initially, I had no...
For both of them, they are both wrong. And I don't want it to come off in this video as if I'm only placing blame on her, because they are both equally as bad as one another. I just couldn't put myself in the shoes of thinking, okay, I had a relationship with this person years ago. They have gone on to get married and, build a life. Let me circle back and go ahead and talk to them, even though I know that I still have feelings for them. Let's go ahead and reignite that flame, knowing this person is married.
Plans of entering into a relationship with him. One thing that has always been really special about our relationship is...
She talks a lot in these videos about the intent to hurt people. And I won't bring it up every single time, but it's very clear that if you are engaging with somebody that is in a marriage or a committed relationship and you are aware, then that for me is intent to hurt. That is intent to cause pain and cause grief and break apart families and wreck homes.
We were always really good friends, as well as lovers. So I think that makes any breakup really hard, and kind of separating yourself from the person difficult. I'm not going to sit here and justify, what I did or what happened, because there really isn't any justification for it. However, I will say that when Bill...
I'm not going to sit here and justify what I did, but I'm going to make multiple TikTok videos exposing myself as the mistress that is now pregnant, and go on to explain some more and say that things are not always black and white, and hope that people follow along.
When I started spending time together, he was very, very lonely, and I offered him friendship, somebody to talk to, and it went from there.
Offering your friendship to a married person when you had a prior romantic involvement with that individual is BS. I don't think that that's an excuse. I think that that is, no, let me go back. That is an excuse to justify anything that might happen. Oh, we were friends and it just went too far. We're only human, blah, blah, blah. Like, do y'all see what I'm trying to say here? I just, and again, it's on him too. Shame on him for not pumping the brakes and saying, this is not what should be happening here. I am in a devoted marriage and things might be tough right now, but I should not bring infidelity into this situation. Wow.
I don't think that people ever, who end up in this kind of situation ever enter into it with these, ill intentions. And I won't say that I went into this looking to be some sort of homewrecker or...
If you enter into a relationship with somebody that is married or in a relationship themselves outside of you, that is ill intent. That is intent to hurt, as I've said before.
With this insane jealousy and wanting to take over her life or something.
If you go into a relationship with somebody that is married, you are signing up to be a homewrecker, point blank, period.
Because that's just simply not true. It just doesn't work that way. And like I said before, love is hard and it's messy, and sometimes things happen and we just kind of have to make the best of them. But in no way am I perfect. In no way have I made perfect choices in my life or in this situation. However, I never wanted to intentionally hurt.
The whole argument of I'm not perfect, I haven't made perfect choices, blah, blah, blah. I'm really, actually, to be frank, I'm really sick and tired of hearing that at this point, because this was so, it was so manufactured. You both knew exactly what you were doing, and I'm not going to subscribe to the idea of we're only human, it wasn't intentional, blah, blah, blah. I will only entertain that from maybe somebody who was doing this, but they had no clue this person had a partner or a family and they were just completely bamboozled, because I know that that does happen. But this is so far outside of I'm only human, we make mistakes narrative.
Anybody. So I think that's really important to remember. That's part one of the saga, and the next video I'm just going to cover kind of how I came to quote unquote corner her in her driveway, which is not really what happened, but I understand that that's how she felt, but and kind of where things went from there.
So now we're going to get on to the third video. This video says the husband of Marissa Henderson. So now we get to meet the other party in this absolute catastrophe of a situation. Both of them were intentional. Both of them knew what they were doing. And this is the other party in wrecking the home.
Hey everyone, this is Bill Turris. You guys know me better as Marissa Henderson's husband. Decided to come on here and tell my side of kind of what's led us up to this point. So, having already read some of the comments, some things that I'll just kind of head off at the pass now is what you're not going to hear from me is me ever saying that me having an affair wasn't my fault or that it wasn't wrong, because it was. However, in that, it's easy to place blame when you've only heard half of the story, when the other person hasn't told any of their shortcomings, how they've had an affair, how they've essentially jerked around my son, who's 8, and in all of this, frankly, is the only truly innocent party in all of this. And that's really what spurred me to make these videos. Because
imagine this being your parents. Imagine putting all of this out onto social media while Marissa never name dropped again, as a reminder. But imagine this now kind of snowballing into a situation that is going to live on internet history forever. This will forever be in the archives of TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, anywhere that it's being discussed. I could never imagine having to be so embarrassed by your father and the woman that he decided to get pregnant, while your mother was sitting here not name dropping and, you know, based on what I've seen, kind of staying on her side to not allow this to snowball. She is allowed to talk about her feelings. She never name dropped who the mistress was. So all of this has kind of imploded because Miss Ma'am decided to say, oh yeah, hey, I'm the mistress and I'm the one that is pregnant. I'm going to make multiple videos trying to excuse and downplay what happened here, even though all of us see exactly what happened.
For months now, Marissa has gone on here and talked about how she desperately wanted a relationship with him. She's very good at getting people on her side. And I don't blame anybody for being on her side. Having heard her side of all this, and only her side. There's no reason for you guys not to believe what she said. Some of it is totally true. I had an affair. But there's just a lot of details that have been left out. And like I said, what I did wasn't right. It doesn't excuse her having an affair. It doesn't excuse me doing it. But it's easy to kind of paint somebody as a bad guy and then vaguely make comments.
Sir, at the end of the day, the details really don't matter that much because you've already said it. You had an affair. You knew you were committed. You decided to go ahead and engage in said affair, and that's really all that we need to know. I am playing these videos for context sake because my subscribers are amazing and they will pick up stuff that I overlooked or didn't mention in this reaction. But all that we need to know is that you and your mistress are deplorable individuals. But let's keep going.
It's like, well, of course I wasn't perfect, because nobody is. And I also understand with primarily women viewing her videos that a lot of people can put themselves in that shoe, in her shoes, and feel that way. So going forward, probably tomorrow, I'm gonna first just tell the backstory of kind of what led us up to.
I don't think that her followers or her viewers have anything to do with anything. It is simply the age-old saying of people don't like cheaters. People don't respect individuals whom go outside of their relationship. You know what would have been really easy? If you're unhappy in your marriage and you feel like you don't want to pursue counseling, you don't want to pursue any other method of trying to come back together and work things out, why don't you go ahead and get divorced? And then if you get divorced, then you can go on to do what you want to do. And we wouldn't have a mistress and a pregnancy and, an incoming divorce and infidelity and all of these things. We see people being unfaithful and the topic of infidelity being so common now on social media. It just seems like some people are so quick to step outside of their marriage for 5 minutes of feeling like, oh, that satisfied me. And it's a sad world, but we're living in it. Here we are,
Me reaching out to Ashley and kind of going down that road. Frankly, I didn't want to be on this app telling my side of the story. I did request that Marissa just take down the videos and kind of move on. That was rejected, which is entirely her right, but it's my right to be able to add additional context to the story. So, like I said, all I'm going to do is tomorrow I'm going to start out and just give...
Sir, nobody dropped your mistress's name. She decided to expose herself. You might not have wanted to put everything out there, so you can blame her for posting and outing herself and all of us having an opinion about it. She is the one that dropped the veil on, hey, I'm the mistress, I'm the sloppy one that got pregnant by someone else's husband. And we're responding to it as an internet society does.
Brief, 20,000 foot view of probably 3 years leading up to everything. And then from there, I'll dive into more details and parts that are more for Ashley to tell. She'll hop on and continue. And I also understand that no matter what I say, there are people who already have their minds made up, and that's okay. I'm not innocent in all this. Ashley's not innocent in all this. My point in making this is to just say that Marissa's not innocent in all this either. And some people aren't going to want to hear that, but that's the truth. And just like she said that she wants to move on, I do as well. I frankly want to get the divorce done as quick.
In the beginning of that video, I heard him saying that he wasn't going to try to explain or justify his actions, and I literally listened to almost 5 minutes of him trying to justify and downplay what we all saw happen. The final part that I want to play, this is her most recent video, and this is the audio recording of her confronting Marissa in her driveway. And again, like, you are literally asking for a big problem if you go up to somebody's home and you confront them in their driveway. What did you think was going to happen?
Hey everyone, I hope everyone's having a good Monday. In this video, I'm going to address the driveway confrontation situation. It's going back 6 months to basically Marissa's initial video where she said she was confronted in her driveway by the mistress saying that she was pregnant. So I'm going to play, in a couple minutes, I'm going to play the audio recording I have of our conversation. It's only 3 minutes long, and I'll give you some sort of background and thoughts on what kind of led up to that and why I decided to do it and what I was hoping to accomplish. Before I get into that, though, I would like to address a few things. First,
By the way, I know that this is a completely random kind of side note, but I am going to speed these videos up just a little bit because she pauses a lot, she says a lot, and these videos are not really easy to digest. So for time saving sake, I am going to speed them up just a little bit, but yeah, let's keep going because this is almost 8 minutes and we're only 44 seconds in.
To say I'm not here looking to justify my actions or get any sympathy from anybody. There's only one person in this situation who's ever tried to distort the truth in order to get sympathy, and that person's not me. I understand that a lot of you are going to think that what I did...
She's constantly saying, so-and-so's trying to get sympathy. I'm not here to get sympathy. I'm not trying to downplay. I'm not trying to excuse. But we literally are on the fourth and final video of her trying to explain why having an affair with a married man was just being human.
And the choices that I made are bad, that I'm morally bad, and that, you know, I'm just an awful person. And that's okay. That's your right to have that opinion. Obviously, I'm more complex than just one choice or even a series of choices. But if you want to see me that way, that's absolutely fine by me.
Before we get into the actual audio part of this video, what I would like to say is, in a situation like this, of course, it's wrong, it's gross, it's appalling, it's all the bad things. But it was on her husband to tell her. It was not on you to roll up to her residence and confront her in the driveway. Again, this is something that should have happened behind closed doors. You decided to out yourself, and it's just absolutely wild to me. You're sitting here saying, I am not trying to justify my actions, while making multiple part videos saying that you're only human and love is hard and be kind to one another nonsense.
The reason why I'm doing these videos is because I want to tell the truth about what happened and the whole truth, not skew it to get sympathy, and just to explain that sometimes situations, almost all the time, situations are more complex than they look on the surface. Things aren't black and white. And the second thing I want to address is prison. First of all, Bill did not get me fresh out of prison or whatever. I got out in 2020. So I've been out for 4 years at this point, well, over 4 years at this point, and rebuilt my life, etc. So, and then why I went to prison is, in the most simple terms, because of drug addiction. Obviously, it's more complicated than that, and I plan to do a whole series of videos about my entire experience with the legal system, addiction, recovery, etc.
You're Marissa, right? Yes. How are you? Good. How are you? Good. It's chilly out here. I didn't expect it to be quite so cold. We have kind of a private conversation.
Private conversation while she is recording it, and then will later go on to post to social media. There's nothing private about this. How dare you?
Conversation we have to have. If you want to go inside, that's fine. Or if you want to step in my car, I mean, it's just kind of weird. I know you don't know me.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm guessing you don't want to. It's kind of weird, like especially because you look really cold. But I promise I'm not here to like hurt you or anything like that. But I do have to tell you something.
Okay.
So, and I'm really sorry because I know this is going to hurt your feelings a lot, but I've been seeing Bill for a while.
Okay.
I have a long history with him. I've known him since I was like 24 or 25. So we started seeing each other like a month and a half ago, maybe a little bit longer. I'm pregnant. So, you know, I know that this is hard for you and I'm sorry. But I mean, I'm sure you'll talk to Bill more about this, but
I'm sure you'll talk more to Bill about this. It was his job to tell her. It was not your job to roll up to her private residence. This is absolutely insane to me. Where did you come from with that? Where did that idea pop up into your little brain? What is happening right now?
but yeah, that's pretty much what I came to tell you, and I love him.
I don't really have anything to say.
Yeah, I expected.
Telling a woman that you love her husband. This is the thing, like, and this is why I said earlier, she was asking for trouble. This could have been any other person, and this could have turned very violent very quickly. And obviously I'm glad that it didn't, because I never condone that. I don't condone that. This is just really wild.
Like I said, I'm sorry. I mean, I can imagine, you know, your position. It's not a fun one, so.
Yeah. What was your name again? Ashley. Well, I appreciate you telling me.
Yeah, I think that Phil wanted to break it to you, but I mean, we both know him really well, and it's hard for him, especially in emotional things like this. He doesn't want to hurt you, and you know.
Bill wanted to break it to you, but so why is it that you're in my driveway? Why is it that you were not allowing things to play out the way that they should have played out, which is not having this recorded and having the husband have a conversation with his wife behind closed doors to never be posted to social media? But here you are standing your ass in my driveway and should be thanking your lucky stars that things did not turn very dark. He doesn't want to hurt you, but I'm pregnant and we've been having an affair.
I don't want to hurt you either. Like I said, I don't know you.
And I don't want to hurt you either, but I've been having an affair with your husband, whom I know was, I know he was married, and we went ahead and carried on because that's what we wanted to do.
Well, yeah, I'll talk to him.
Yeah, like I said, I'm sure you will, but I'm pretty sure that we're going to move forward with being together.
I will be here this morning.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I just wanted, you know, to kind of.
I'm pretty sure we're going to move forward with being together. So she wasn't even allowing Marissa to process the information that she was just told out of left field, no notice. You're confronting me in my driveway, but I'm going to go ahead and also tell you that we're going to move forward together. We are going to go on past this, and I love your husband.
You, what I know, but I'm sure, you know, you guys will have a conversation and everything.
Okay, so that was the audio recording.
All right, maybe the last like minute or so, I'll just drop in as a little bit of a splice. To be really frank, I am sick of looking at her face. I am sick of listening to this garbage that is coming out of her mouth. How dare you? How dare you post this video and think that it would make any situation better? In fact, I'm almost glad that she made this video because it fully exposed how appalling and egregious this individual is.
Okay, so that was the audio recording. I'm sorry, it's kind of hard to hear just because it was in my pocket and I was shivering because it was March and I was freezing. I mean, she was freezing too. She was in a sleeveless dress and flip-flops. I felt horrible. I felt horrible for a lot of reasons. But anyway, so to give you just some idea as to why I confronted her or whatever, why I approached her, there's a lot of reasons, but primarily because I felt like if I told her, she would hear it and she would listen to me. Obviously, I didn't want to be the mistress. And at the end of the day, it was selfish, but I didn't want to be the mistress. That's true. It was selfish and presumptuous. I thought that she didn't love him and that they weren't right together. More than anything, I was pregnant and there was no going back, only forward. Like I said, this offers no excuses or justifications, just the truth. My next video will kind of go into what happened right after she left.
Again, she's very lucky that things did not turn violent. She's very lucky that Marissa was, having this, like, I'm very put off, I don't need to hear this from you attitude, because this might have been somebody else and things could have been a much different ending. But either way, I want to know how y'all feel about this. I figured, we've been talking about Gypsy Rose and her little messy married to boyfriend to being knocked up kind of thing, and I came across this again totally random, but I figured, you know what, let's do a reaction. I'll see what the comments are like, but either way, for now, if you like the video, please leave a like and a comment, and if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.